Hi, this is Anita from the Dusty Roads podcast. Today I want to talk a little bit about what does it mean to be a global citizen, or what does it mean to be a global citizen in today's world. Our Dusty Roads podcast and at my blog, A Bus on a Dusty Road, we explore this a lot. We talk about and encourage people to live your life as a global citizen. First of all, let's talk about what is a global citizen. A global citizen is someone who sees beyond their national identity and embraces the shared responsibilities we all have as humans. It's not about where you're born or live. It's about how you think, how you act, and what values guide you. Global citizens care about human rights, sustainability, equity, education, and access. They stay informed. They travel when they can. They ask questions. They connect dots between cultures. They listen. They show up. And they don't pretend the world's problems belong to someone else. So why being a global citizen? Why does it matter today? Well, we're more connected than ever, through technology, trade, climate, culture, and crisis. But connection doesn't guarantee compassion or action. That's where global citizenship comes in. It's a mindset that turns awareness into responsibility. Today, I want to talk about 15 key areas about why being a global citizen matters. And here are the 15 areas. 1, you understand we're all interconnected. The world is more interconnected now than I think it's ever been at any time. And this interconnection will just continue to grow and grow as technology continues to grow. We as a world are truly interconnected in so many ways. You can have friends in one part of the world and stay connected with them, through whether it's through Facebook or it's through, FaceTime or any types of WhatsApp, any other types of mediums. You can be able to stay connected with your friends and family. Many years ago, when I moved to Asia, it was kind of a bit lonely. I didn't hear from people much. We didn't have the technology we have today. It was very expensive to call. But today, I'm able to call home every single day. And I'm able to connect every single day with people around the world. It really, truly is a more interconnected and different world than it's ever been before. As a global citizen, you respect cultures without making them seem romantic or stereotyping them. You learn from others, not to collect their traditions, but to honor them. So, you have culture appreciation, not appropriation. And those are, two very different things. You appreciate the culture and the different nuances of another type of country. You stay informed about global issues. As a global citizen, you're someone who cares about the world. So you stay informed about what are the issues happening in the world. You do other things like you support fair trade and ethical consumption. You make buying choices that don't exploit workers or the environment. You care where, your coffee, clothes, or tech comes from. You care about these things. You understand them. You practice environmental responsibility. This, I think, is really a big one that the world needs more. Doing things like recycling, reducing plastics, and minimizing your carbon footprints they aren't just local concerns. They should be global commitments. Language is powerful. You may speak more than one language, or you may try to learn a few words when you travel. It's not just about convenience, it's also about respect. Language can be a great way to be able to bring cultures and countries and people together. You embrace differences without trying to erase them. You understand the world is filled with differences, and you try to embrace these differences and appreciate these differences. You travel with curiosity and humility. I really think humility is a great thing. So many people, they travel and they feel like, oh, I know it all, or they compare it to their home. Well, in my home, we do this. In my country, we do this. That's not what travel's about. Travel is about having humility. It's about learning from others. It's about gaining from others. It's about being able to see the differences in others and appreciate the differences in others. You support local education. You believe everyone should have access to learning, whether it's a girl in Afghanistan or a rural student in Guatemala. You believe in education for all. And when you have the opportunity to travel, maybe you educate somebody about your country, about your culture, about your life. You vote and you influence policy and the world with the world in mind. When you vote, if you're in a country that allows you to vote, you vote thinking about the world and about how this will impact the world, how your vote will impact the world. You advocate for human rights. You stand up for freedom of speech, gender equality, LGBTQ and rights, and racial justice, and refugee protection, regardless of where the issues originate. You share knowledge, not just opinions. I think this is also a really important one that, you contribute to the conversation, projects, the community. You become part of the solution, not the problem. Where you can, you offer help and mentorship and collaboration across borders. You fight against nationalism and extremism. And this is a problem which is happening more and more throughout the world, where we're becoming very, very nationalistic, anti-global. But as living your life as a global citizen, you believe patriotism's fine. You believe you're patriotic towards your own country. But that doesn't mean that it's at the expense of truth, inclusion, or international cooperation. You believe that nationalism is important, but you also don't believe in extremism. You invest in solutions, not just sympathy. You don't just watch disasters unfold. You donate, you organize, you build, you care about long-term impact, not just quick fixes. You understand privilege and use it wisely. I think this is also one of the key ones, especially for those of us that have come from privileged societies or privileged places, that you understand that privilege, is important, but you use it wisely too. If you have access to travel, tech, education, wealth, you recognize it and you use it to amplify others, not just elevate yourself. There's many ways that you can start now to start thinking like a global citizen. And here's a few things that you can do, even if you can't travel. You can read international news, at least weekly, support global causes and verified NGOs. Listen to podcasts from outside your culture. A podcast such as this one is such an example. Try food from regions you don't know much about and try to learn and explore about those foods. Follow educators, artists, and leaders from other countries. Teach your kids or others about parts of the world. Learn one phrase in a new language every month. Understand immigration, not just policy, but as people's lives. Global citizen is not just a trend. It becomes really a lifelong practice, and it becomes something that you should do throughout your life. So if you've been listening with the Dusty Roads podcast, you realize that we are great advocates for living life as a global citizen. And we've said many times that you don't really have to travel. You could just be someone who cares about the world, someone who wants to learn about the world, and someone who wants to learn about other lives, other cultures, and other places. And that's what it really means to live your life as a global citizen. I've written a blog on this entitled, what does it mean to be a global citizen today? And then there's some ideas, there's some frequently asked questions, there's some other things like that you can use to be able to see what does it really mean to be a global citizen today and how you can take these steps in your life to become a global citizen. I believe in today's world, in this world where we live in, where things are becoming more like people become more nationalistic, or they're saying that they want to block the world out or not have the world around, that it's more important than ever that those of us who believe in this, that we stand up for this and we stand up to live our lives as a global citizen. So we hope that you'll subscribe, that you'll join with us, and that you'll be part of this community where it's not just about learning about travel and the world and other things, but it's also really about learning how to live your life as a global citizen.